Welcome to our video on making a study plan for any tests or exams that you have coming up. This is one of two academic-specific videos that we have for planning, the other being our project planning video. The study planner takes you through the timeline of studying, from how you're feeling before studying to making concrete plans to study and utilize resources, and then finally to reflections that you have after taking the test. This template can and should be used in conjunction with any planners or calendars that you have. The reality is that while you're studying for this one test, you're probably also juggling other commitments. Whether it's the rest of your classes at school, a job, extracurriculars, a social life, or helping out at home, this is one of many parts of your life. And so you should be thinking about how and when you'll fit this in with the rest of your responsibilities. To get started, list out all of the logistics that you know about this upcoming test or exam. What class is this for? When is the date of the exam? And how many days you have to prepare for it? What topics will be covered? And more importantly, what topics are priorities for you to study and make sure you understand? This is already getting you to think about the priority that this test has in your life right now and will have in the future. It's very different knowing that you have a month to study for an exam as opposed to a week. Of course, it would be ideal if you could spread out your studying so that you're not cramming at the last minute. However, say you have another big deadline coming up before this test. You might be prioritizing that deadline first before putting more of your time into studying for this one. The goal of this general prep section is to build the skill of giving yourself a start and an end date and seeing what can be done in that time. You should also be thinking about the resources available to you and how you can best use them. Do you have a group of friends or classmates who are studying for the same test? Are there office hours with a teacher that you can go to? Or maybe would you benefit from setting aside time to do practice questions on your own? Every class also has its own demands on study skills. The skills that you put to use for a history exam look very different from how you're studying for a math test. At this point, consider what you need to do to build up your knowledge for this particular test. Will you need to memorize any formulas, dates, or procedures? Are you expecting to practice application-based questions? By thinking about the type of studying that you'll need to do, you'll be able to get the most appropriate resources that can help you to retain the information. Like many of our resources, this template is customizable, and we encourage you to think about what study skills you need, as well as how you work best. After you have the logistics of your exam down and have an idea of the resources you have at hand, you can move into the planning phase. Write down study strategies that are specific for this class and for this exam. This is where the resources you already listed can come in handy. Do you work with a tutor to boost specific skills? Is there a workshop led by a teacher or teaching assistant where the class can work on practice problems together? Do you have time to spend some time alone with a textbook and flashcards? Use this section to write down the specific strategies that you need to use for this exam, estimate how long it will take, and add it to your general planner so you can fit it into your schedule. You can fill out this section in a couple different ways. One is to list the study strategies by order of importance. For example, maybe listing the less time-consuming ones first, and then building up to strategies that might take more time out of your day. Another is to list them out by the day that you can do them, basically treating this section like a calendar. The how long and when sections will help with time estimations for each strategy, as well as when you plan on tackling them. So again, this is where using this template in conjunction with other organizational resources comes in handy. If you're referring to a calendar or a planner while using this template, you'll be able to fit in your study sessions with the rest of your commitments. If there are smaller tasks you need to do, like memorizing a few vocab words, you can fit that into a busier day. If you want to attend a workshop that might take an hour or two, make sure you're carving out enough time in the day to get the rest of your tasks done. So you're building the skill of sequencing tasks. You're finding out what needs to get done and when, and you're putting the puzzle pieces together in order to create a schedule that works for you. The digital version of this document also includes a drop-down menu for you to keep track of your progress, to see which strategies you've already hit and which ones you might need to focus on more. While this section can provide a structure and a timeline for your studying, it's also important to remember that sometimes things might take longer than expected, or you might get stuck on reviewing a particular topic. This document is not meant to be static. Update it as you progress with your studying. If it means adding an extra study session with a friend or increasing the estimated time for a particular study strategy, this is all speaking to your skill of being flexible and coping with changes as they come along. The last part of this resource gives you room for any additional notes or reminders, and also to come up with an effective plan for the test itself. Notes can be anything from small tasks that you need to do to even writing yourself some affirmations. The test plan section is useful if you tend to get pre-test jitters. Maybe your mind goes blank the moment you enter the room and it takes some time to get your bearings. Depending on the type of test it is, for example, multiple choice, an essay, a lab practical, you can jot down a game plan and look over it before the test so you have an idea of what you'll be doing once it begins. The very last section leaves space for reflection. Was there a strategy that you used this time around that you'd like to keep for future tests? What didn't go so well and what could be changed for next time? Rather than being a one-and-done resource, the study plans you create can also be used to look back to see your work and growth over time. So this is how the template looks all in one document. As you can see, this resource can be printed and filled out, or it can be kept as a digital tool that can be edited and saved on a desktop. So let's go through the sample study plan provided here. This covers a plan for a history test on the Revolutionary War. So the student has created the study plan a week before the test, given them around 7 days to review the material. They are feeling iffy about this going in, which speaks to the importance of noting your pre-study feeling as you create this template. If you know that you're less confident on certain topics over others, this can help with prioritization, especially if you're stuck on where to start in the study process. They've listed out a variety of resources and study buddies, which is important in making sure that you're engaging in different ways of studying. In the study strategy section, they've listed a range of things that will help them to review the material, as well as time estimations for how long each strategy might take. Getting to the test plan, this student has written down what they will do right when they get the test, as well as strategies for if they get stuck at any point. It's helpful to know the structure of the exam before going in. In this case, the student knows that there will be a multiple choice section and has written down a plan for how they'll tackle it. There's also a useful plan of writing down the battle timeline first thing in the test. If there are any formulas or dates that you have memorized, it can be helpful to jot them down as soon as you get your exam so that you won't have to worry about digging through your memory for them later on. Finally, they've recorded their post-studying feeling, the results once they get the test back, and a final reflection. This allows the student to see how they spread out their studying, as well as think about what worked and what didn't work so that they can be more prepared the next time around. This resource functions as a mini planning tool, as well as something that you can use for accountability and reflection. Getting your thoughts and plans written out on paper or digitally can help to free up that mental space so that you can focus on the material for each exam. We hope this planning tool can be of use when you have any tests or exams coming up. Again, we have another video for project planning, which is more specific for short and long-term projects that you might get assigned at school or for work. Check out our website for more resources and information about coaching, as well as upcoming events and programs.